Hi guys, and welcome back to another English with Dry. Today we are going to take a look at the AQA Love and Relationships anthology poem, Eden Rock. Now, the poem begins with the speaker describing his parents. They are waiting for me somewhere beyond Eden Rock, he says. Now, the first thing to note about this poem is the importance of the title. Eden Rock, of course, has connotations of the Bible and of a sort of paradise, an idyllic, a perfect place, and it's where he believes his parents are currently waiting for him. Now, this could mean two things. This could either be that they are literally in a place called Eden Rock and that this is a memory of them that he is thinking of and is running through his head, or it could mean that they have died and passed on to the other side where they are now in the literal Garden of Eden. He gives a lot of detail of how his father and mother looked on this day that he is remembering. He talks about how his father was wearing a genuine Irish tweed coat, and he describes how his mother was wearing a sprigged dress and had a straw hat on. Now, these specific details and the real minutiae of what he's describing suggest that he thinks about this memory very frequently. It's something that he plays over in his head, perhaps as a means of comforting himself whenever he feels sad or lonely or just in some way anxious, and that thinking of this and that specific day is a memory that makes him feel a lot better, and that is probably why he has such a good visual image of it. When he says that his mother's hair takes on the light, it makes us think almost of a halo around her head, and it presents her as being somewhat angelic. She is perfect, and this is why the speaker is insistent on remembering her. As the poem continues, we hear about how the mother poured tea from a thermos and the milk straight from an old HP sauce bottle. Now, this is a really unusual description, but it clearly shows that this is a very personal memory for the speaker, because every family has their own individual routines and unique characteristics. And for the speaker, this was just their one. Not everyone would do this, but they did. And that is why he has such affection for this memory. And he has an affection for his childhood and the things they would all do together. He finishes the stanza talking about how they set out the same 3 plates. Now, that could either mean this was a trip and a picnic that they would go on frequently, or it could mean, again, that he constantly relives this memory in his mind in order to make himself feel better. It's timeless and it will never change. The final stanza and then individual line begins with "the sky whitens as if lit by 3 suns." Now, this is the first real example of visual imagery in the poem. The 3 suns in the simile could represent the speaker and his parents, and the white light almost seems heavenly, and so therefore again we're getting an even stronger sense that the poet is trying to describe a heavenly location. But also it reinforces the idea that the mother and the father are waiting in paradise for him to join them. We then hear about how they are beckoning him from the other bank. Clearly they are on the other side of a river to him. Now, crossing the stream path to the other side could be read as a metaphor for passing into the afterlife. Perhaps the speaker himself is at the point where he's nearing death, and this is why he is thinking of this memory of Eden Rock and that day with his parents. It's totally natural when confronted with something scary and life-affirming, such as death, that one would retreat into a happy memory. It's very possible that that is what the speaker is doing. They call to him and reference the stream path. Crossing is not as hard as you might think, they say, and of course the metaphor of crossing a river to get into the afterlife is taken straight from Greek mythology and from the river Styx. This is giving us the clear impression from the poet that he is actually very close to death, and that is why this memory is something that is running in and out of his mind. The final line is situated on its own, away from the rest of the body of the text. And this indicates it stands alone in the poet's thoughts. It's almost like he is being jerked back to reality. He's taking a step away from these memories, and he's kind of struck by the present situation that he's in. Now, we can only guess and speculate at this, But the best interpretation is that the parents are trying to comfort him in his own mind, telling him it's not as hard as he would think. Now, what is it that's not as hard? Well, perhaps it's dying. And this seems to be helping him to be at peace with what is about to happen to him. And so if we go to our 5-box summary. Firstly, the speaker fondly remembers a picnic he went on as a child with his parents at Eden Rock. He vividly remembers the exact details of what they did and how his parents looked, showing he relives this memory frequently. Then, memory is perfect for him, and it contains a great deal of holy imagery. This place is almost like a paradise that he goes to. It begins to become clear that his parents have died and he is imagining waiting for him in the afterlife. And then, lastly, he seems to play this memory back again in his head as a means of comforting himself before he too dies and goes. He hopes to join them. Thank you all for watching. I hope it was useful. Please remember to like and subscribe and watch the other videos. Goodbye.